Hey guys, thanks so much for tuning in this week to This Georgia Clay. Thank you so much for being patient with us. I'm so glad to be back and feeling a lot better. Those of you that don't know, I did have a hysterectomy on August 4th, I believe it was. No, it was on August 2nd. And I'm doing well. I am 3 weeks post-op. As of this Thursday, I'll be 4 weeks. So I'm almost to the finish line of my healing. Of course, it takes longer than 6 weeks, but 6 weeks is the time when I will get the green light to do all the things that I love to do and miss doing. So anyways, this week we are showing you guys the final reveal of our backyard. We kind of had to take a pause on the last installment of this series because, you know, everything that was going on. But I do want to thank you guys so much for all of your well wishes, your prayers, your thoughts, everything. You guys have been so just incredibly awesome and amazing people, and I thank you guys. We are all a family here, and I just love, this is just something that I love to do as a passion. So here we are back to getting ready to design and whatnot. If you guys seen our Instagram reel, not reel but stories this week, you'll see that I made a little joke that I said that we were moving. We are not moving. With these interest rates, your girl can't even afford to buy the same house again, okay? But we are doing some awesome things inside of the home that we will show you guys starting next week, and I'm so excited about. So that is another series that we're doing, and we're getting back to all of the DIYs that you guys have known to come and love from This Georgia Clay. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this week's vlog. So recapping where we came from in this project, a lot of you guys know that I had this fence put in. It was like my take on a white picket fence. Again, living in an HOA, I kind of had to go with what was already within our neighborhood and the style of fence. But of course, being This Georgia Clay, I had to change it up just a little bit. So I wanted to add a beautiful pergola on one side of our house to be the grand entrance, the area that our guests would come through, the area that would be leading into my secret garden. And as you guys know, I have been getting into gardening. I absolutely love it. Right now it's extremely hot though. Also, another thing I wanted to add, and this is actually before our fence went in, we decided to go ahead and put in a fire pit area. We went back and forth with things to do in the backyard, if we were just going to make it all garden space, if we were just going to go ahead and keep it with grass. But because we get so much shade on the backside of our home, it just made sense to do something that we were going to use and again utilize that space. The first part of this project, we at first were just going to have a fire pit and one walkway from the other side of the home that basically connected to our existing patio under the deck. Well, knowing me and changing designs, I told Matt, it just doesn't make sense to me to have one walkway where we're actually in the fire pit and you have to walk over the fire pit in order to access the other side of the house. And then once we put the fence in, I knew that we needed to have a grand entrance. As you guys know, we like to do a lot of DIY projects on our own. It's not that we don't have the funds to pay a contractor. Well, it just depends. But it's just most of the time, or we've had experiences where we've hired people and they just haven't shown up. The work hasn't been what we expected, or we just didn't get good vibes from them. But with Curbing USA, they have put in curbing that again goes around a flower bed normally. And I reached out to them. I asked them, hey, this is my design. This is what I would like to do. Can you work with me? And they absolutely love the design. This is something that was the first time that they've ever done it before, laying decorative curbing around. I would absolutely recommend them. I will be leaving their information in the description below if you are based here in North Georgia. And it doesn't even have to be North Georgia because I believe they go all over. I don't think Savannah area, like not that low, but within the Atlanta metro area, they do service. But anyhow, it was just a great experience working with them. They were professional, they were on time, courteous. They always asked for our suggestions and opinions to make sure that we absolutely loved it and we were happy with the overall project. So we went with this brick lay here. It is just barely starting to dry, and then they go ahead and put kerosene on it just to give it a nice polished look. But we were absolutely loving it. And again, we could have went with something that was maybe a less expensive with laying brick, or even putting in landscape edging around to make it, but I just wanted something that was more permanent and also beautiful as well. So again, they worked with us with the design. I asked them just, hey, let's do a walkway, go around our fire pit, and then we'll do the rest. Now that the concrete had dried and cured, it was time to go ahead and add in the filler. We decided to go ahead and go with marble chips. Of course, this is your personal preference if you would like to mimic the same project or do something very similar in your home. It was just something that kind of helped to lighten up the space. I didn't want to, originally we were going to go with slate, but I felt like if I would have done slate, it just would have been so dark. And actually the concrete here dried a little bit darker. I think here it looks a little bit lighter because it was just curing, but anyhow, we made sure to put fabric down, and I love how it came out. It was a lot of work, I would have to say that. You know, hindsight 22, I think that's what it's called. Hindsight 2020. I think maybe this would have been the part that I would have liked to hire out, because it was a lot of work. Now, once all the hard stuff was completed, it was time for all the fun things, which that means it was time for lights. It also was time to set up those planters so eventually I could plant in them. And so I decided to go ahead and recruit these containers from my deck area, because I did have some beautiful hydrangeas in them, but they did die, guys. Yes, they died. So here we are using some Quikrete and just waiting for it to set. But the project is coming together. I can't wait for you guys to see the final reveal. Once the concrete had set, Matt went ahead and bought them to the back of the house for us. And I went ahead and added some additional marble chips to the container at the base, just because we had so much. We ordered 3 tons, which actually was too much. We could have got away with 2 tons of rock. I did go ahead and add some of them to the container, and we went ahead and started painting the wood that we were using to the wood posts that we were using to have the light strung from it. And I just used some stain that we had used previously for the pergola that Matt had built me in front of this fire pit area last year. And I just went ahead and got another, I think it was like a quart size from Home Depot. So everything is all the same color. And it was really simple. I think it only took me maybe about, let's say for both of them, maybe about 10 minutes, 5 minutes per hole to paint it. But it was just relaxing. That stood out there with me and everything. Okay, so I probably shouldn't have been picking up this chair, but of course, anyone that knows me, I'm a little hard-headed and I just can't sit still. I'm always constantly having to do something, but don't worry guys, it didn't hurt myself. It was just fine. So of course, I had to test out the area, see if I like the feel of it. Matt's like, why'd you put the chairs here? We need to move them. So it was time for lights. So we went ahead and moved the chairs out the way because we needed to bring in the ladder and string the lights. Originally, we were going to go ahead and string the lights kind of like in a zigzag over the fire pit area, but it didn't look right to me, so we had to change it up a little bit, so you'll see that. But we did order these lights on Amazon. I'll make sure to link them on my LTK as well as my Amazon storefront. They are completely solar. I think they were like 49 bucks, but they're really good quality where you don't have to worry about any type of electrical outlet needed close to the area that you're trying to light. We also got these hooks that you just screw right into the wood in order to hang the lights. So that was the part when I was looking at it like, something isn't right. This just doesn't look right for me. The zigzag thing just isn't our jam. So I did go ahead and have Matt change it up. I know it was so hot. I feel bad for him, but he goes with my shenanigans and helps me out. And we did just go ahead and run it as a square rather than trying to do the zigzag, just to make sure that we had proper lighting for everyone that was underneath the fire pit area. And then also it was high enough for when we needed, you know, to walk through it. I feel like with the zigzag, it was hanging too low. It was just off. But I like it so much better this way. Now, isn't that so much better? It looks so symmetrical to me, and I just love it. Now, you would think that it was perfect, but it just needed something else. So I went ahead and partnered with Grand Patio, and I'm so grateful for this collaboration. They went ahead and sent me over this Napoli offset umbrella, and I absolutely love it. It was so easy. It came right to my home. I went ahead and unboxed it. I believe it was within 3 pieces. So I had the base, the umbrella itself, and then the parts to put it together. I chose ultimately black and white. So I chose the 11-foot model of the cantilever patio umbrella with base deluxe Napoli. They have multiple different colors to choose from, so if black and white isn't your thing, you most definitely will have a color that suits you. Again, it came right to my home. It was quick and easy to put together, and I absolutely love it. I think it was like the final finishing touch within that space. A lot of people might say, well, why'd you add an umbrella? Well, because I do want to be able to use the fire pit area while it's hot as well. So I didn't want something that was just I only can use it in the evening when the sun goes down and I'm setting the fire pit. If I was outside in the backyard, I want people to be able to open up the umbrella and enjoy it as well, and not having to sit out there burning. But these boxes were quite heavy, and of course with my surgery, Matt went ahead and helped me out and brought them back to the back, and it was just an easy process. Again, make sure you guys follow the directions putting it together. So ultimately, I ended up putting the umbrella on this part of the fire pit area. I think I'm going to ultimately change it to the other side, but we're just testing it out and seeing how I like it. It's just because the sun sets over there, so I think it needs to go on the opposite side of the walkway, so therefore it just blocks a little bit more sun. But here we are opening up the box. Again, all the pieces were there. The instructions were easy to follow. Doesn't that black and white just pop? It's so nice. I love it. One thing I would suggest to Grand Patio is that when offering different colors for the umbrella, it would be nice if the actual structure was black as well. It was like a brown color, and I just feel like if it was a black and white umbrella, then maybe that should be coordinating. But that's my only criticism of the umbrella itself. But I love how it hangs. It's just so nice and so pretty. And even when I'm not utilizing it and it's not open, I just love seeing that, just that nice black and white. It's kind of like an outside drape, but it's so beautiful. I so love my umbrella. Not only is it functional, it's just a beautiful decorative piece as well, and it just matches my decor amazing. So I absolutely love it. The reason why we went with a solo fire pit is because I wanted something that offered a smokeless fire environment, if that makes sense. So I wanted to be able to, hang out outside and have fun with my family and friends and whatnot, and sit around basically like a campfire style, but something that didn't have as much smoke. Now, all fire pits are gonna emit some type of smoke, but Solo Stove, they do claim that their fire pits offer a more efficient burn, so that way the smoke is not blowing back at you. The size of this solo fire pit that we went with was called the Yukon 2.0, and with this one it came with like a bundle. So it also came with a fire pit cover, so when we're not utilizing it, we can go ahead and make sure that it's nice and clean and it stays protected from the elements. I really love the stainless steel profile of the fire pit. It just looks really nice, and again, of course, it goes with our style, and it just breaks up the space as well. It just offers something a little bit more, just not as heavy as if I were to put in, or build a fixed fire pit area. I think that just would have been a little bit too strong for the area. Also, I do like it where we can move it around. So we do like to, pass out candy or whatnot during Halloween to our neighbors, so we can bring it to the front of the house as well. So it's dual purpose. But I just love how nice and neat that is. Again, making sure everything's nice and looking good for you guys. I absolutely love it. right, guys, so isn't it incredible? It's so beautiful. Again, it's still a work in progress. We still have to go ahead and decorate and fill this in, this space. I would like to make it a cottage garden. I'm doing the no dig method. Again, a lot of this stuff went on a hiatus when I was not feeling my best and I needed to have that surgery, which has been amazing. I cannot wait to be able to not have a period anymore. Like, oh my God, I'm so excited. But anyways, so yeah, so again, this space is a work in progress, but this is amazing. It's everything that I wanted. It's just chill. It's a nice vibe. We've already tried to use it a couple of times, but it's just so hot. Like today, it's 80% humidity here in Georgia, and your girl is, I'm not a sweater, but I have been starting to sweat. Matt's like, are you sweating? I'm like, I guess so, but yeah. So yeah, so I'm out here, I'm starting to sweat. I'm not a huge sweater, so this is something that is, your girl's not liking. So I can't wait to use it in the fall. Most definitely, the solo stove has been everything that we wanted. It was a whole ordeal getting it here from FedEx. That's a whole nother story. But it's here now. I can't complain. It was worth the investment. We can't wait to use it with friends and family and all of the good things as well. So let me know in the comments what you guys think. Our flowers here are struggling, those limelights and stuff, because it is so hot here, and the water, it's just, when I went into the hospital, they kind of got neglected, and so I'm gonna have to wait till next year for them to come back and flourish. But I'm trying. This is my first year truly being a gardener, so we'll see how it goes. So although it looks beautiful, I do want to let you know the nitty-gritty of it and the headache that we have experienced. So with the marble chips, if you guys saw the second video, we did put down a medium grade fabric weed barrier, and it's supposed to be able to go over weed and grass and all of that and smother it out. But with Bermuda grass, it's so invasive that it started to come right through the fabric as if we didn't put anything down. So if I were to go back, I would either rent a sod cutter, but they're kind of expensive and they're really heavy. So unless you have a truck to really get it home, I mean, you can't really do it. We don't have that, or you can hire someone to do that. Another thing as well is we probably should have sprayed it down with grass killer first, then put the fabric down, and then put the rocks on. So that's something that we're going through. It hasn't been so bad. We have been using some Roundup when we see spots come up, spraying the grass, and it's been fine. Matt's such a perfectionist, so he has been going around and picking out the grass. My back goes out too much for that, so I'm not doing that. But I most definitely I'm out here to and give him that encouragement while he is doing it, so I appreciate it. But other than that, we've been loving it. It looks absolutely beautiful, especially like our neighbors when they walk by, especially this neighbor on this side. She says that she just loves looking at it, and it's just been a game changer in terms of when I'm driving on the street behind us where my mother-in-law lives. I always like to look at my house. It looks so pretty from the back as well as inside. So with the lighted planters, I wanted to go ahead and plant it up. I'm doing something that's gonna go into the fall as well. This is white verbena, which I love. I have some pink ones in the front, which I got from Costco with their annuals, and it's been doing great in the sun. It gets sun here, but it gets sun around, let's see, what time is it now? It's 2 o'clock, and so it's still shade, so the sun doesn't come to around 4 o'clock back here, but it's real harsh, intense sun, which is okay for verbena, as well as this midnight sweet potato vine. So it has a trailing habit, so it should be really pretty by the end of the season and carry us into our first frost. Just make sure that you keep the water really good in your planters, because there's not a water source here, so I just make sure that I water it each day. But other than that, absolutely love it. My ideal here again is a cottage garden, but I want it to be more so with pinks, purples, and white within this space. So that's something that we'll be completing during the fall. I just ordered some new hydrangeas, or just bought some today, and yeah, I can't wait to do that all with you guys. So again, thank you so much for tuning in this week to This Georgia Clay. I've missed you all so much, and Matt has missed you guys as well with his editing skills, but we're getting him back to work. So again, thank you guys for tuning in. See you guys next week when we're back inside the house, and I can't wait to show you that because your girl's getting hardwoods. Bye guys.